And now let me welcome on to the Field of 68, the host of the Sean Miller podcast.
What the hell? That sounds so weird.
Can you guess who it is? Sean Miller.
Yeah.
Xavier head
What
coach.
has gone on here?
You guys taught me
we've
the ropes.
elevated you
Yeah.
to where now you're a media sensation.
No, I'm
Hosting
not a
your own
media-
pod.
I got talked into it here, and hopefully it's a good idea. I mean, on a serious note,
Yeah.
I'm anxious to talk about Xavier, our program, our players. It gives me that opportunity in today's world to really, I think, highlight what you really want to highlight, and then have some fun with it, which clearly I learned on the Field of 68.
If I had told anybody, in the Miller family that Sean Miller would be hosting 3 years ago, you'd be hosting your own podcast.
No.
Everybody would have been like, there's no, I mean, we would have won a lot of money on that one. A lot of money.
But on a
It's cool to
serious
see.
note, having never done it, and then us having the time that we did through those 4 or 5 months, we had a great time, and I learned a lot. And some of it is that it's just being able to talk about things you enjoy, people that you enjoy being around that have really impacted you, whether it's on a friend level or a player that you've coached that you loved coaching. There's some real value in that too. And the value for me is it sometimes during the season, it's like you win, you move to the next game, you lose, it feels terrible. It gives maybe a little bit of joy here while we're going through it all.
So I really feel bad for Paul, your co-host. And the reason I say that is because I know from After Dark, whenever we would ask Sean a question, he would just kind of steer the conversation to whatever he wanted to answer. So I have no idea
Sean can be a little long-winded too.
So I
We've
learned
got him.
that.
We've got him
pulling
better.
back. I'm pulling back on
You are.
Yeah.
No, you were
But here's
better.
the thing. You guys kept saying on the Field of 68, like, look, you got to fill time. Like, just talk. So
You can
I
do
was
that.
really
You
doing
could do
what-
that.
You want to talk basketball? I could go. Anything else? I'm short-winded.
I'm told that now Archie is thinking about, he's seeing you starting your pod, and I'm told the sources tell me that Archie might now go into the podcasting hosting business as well.
Wow.
So there might be a little competition there.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It would be an interesting podcast because, as we all know here, he spits facts. He does his research.
A lot of Ken Palm.
He's
A lot of Ken
a
Palm.
big stat guy.
He is.
So, yeah, he would have to.
Still,
branch
the
out
best
a little
stat
more.
ever on
Yeah.
Archie is what?
Free throw defense.
Incredible.
Yeah, I mean,
How was he last
Rob
year
and
at
I
URI?
had-
Do we
brought
know?
it up constantly, didn't we?
Yeah, nonstop.
Do you know what he ranked last year at URI? Have you
I
looked
didn't
that
look
up?
at that. I really
We need to
should.
find that.
Yeah.
It wasn't very high.
But remember, he's
it
one
was
of the
down.
all-time.
The portal really affected his free throw defense. So you've dealt with probably more injuries, more health situations than anybody else in this conference, maybe anybody in college basketball.
Two starters.
Two starters, two of your best players, Zach Fremantle and Jerome Hunter. How has that impacted the way that you're heading into the season?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really tough blow for us, Rob. I mean, you can't put a silver lining on it. First, for both of them. In Zach's case, remember he had a season-ending injury a year ago. He was looking forward to coming back and finishing his final year healthy start to finish. And to see him go down again, and that's actually his third surgery, is disheartening. I will say I think next year at this time he'll be here, and I believe that he'll be able to finish his season, his career the right way. It's just tough watching that happen. And it happened really late in the summer, so it's not like we could, in fact, replace him. Jerome, having a situation with his heart, the most important thing is he's healthy. He continues to clear every hurdle, and we're more optimistic now than ever that he'll return to play. It's just not going to happen this year. So we have 10 new players and 6 freshmen, and look, we have to make the best of it and improve. I do think we have a deeper team than maybe some people realize. I like our younger players. A couple freshmen are off to a great start, and we have to just be that team, I think, that's difficult to play against.
So the overseas guys that you are recruiting, you started doing a little bit in Arizona. We're seeing Nick Cronin. A lot of different people are going out and getting these European players. What is the impact they're going to have, and how different is it coaching a freshman that's coming out of a club somewhere in Europe versus a freshman that's coming out of high school?
Yeah, so 2 of our incoming international players, Sasha Ciani, he's from Slovenia. That's Luka Doncic's country, and Sasha will eventually, I think, be on their senior national team
He's going to be the
as he
president
grows
of the
older.
UN by the end of the
I know, this is unbelievable.
Lazar
Pronouncing it right.
Djokovic,
Yep.
no relation to the tennis Djokovic, but same country, Serbia.
Okay.
And I coached Dusan Ristic at Arizona from Serbia. So those two guys are big guys. So, Lazar is 6'10", very mobile. I think his athleticism and his mobility are striking. You'll see that. And has a huge upside. If he were in our country, it would have been an epic recruiting battle for us to get him.
Really?
Very, very high.
We would have went high major.
Yep. And then Sasha Ciani is from Slovenia. Again, these two guys, to answer your question, Rob, they play for their country. And, where young people in our country play for a travel team in the summer, these guys are playing in events that mean a lot to their coach, their federation, their country. So I think that they have a great mindset for the game. They understand the game, and they come battle tested. The last international player, Gytis Namiska, he's not a freshman. So he's
old.
He has a year or two. He's 6'7", wing forward, played for Zalgiris, which is a club team in Lithuania.
I've been there.
Yeah,
Goodman
Kirk
knows all
Kriisa
about it.
played
I know
for
all
them,
about
and,
Zalgiris.
And right, and then there's two other guys. The guy who's playing for Arizona who's a freshman, a point guard for Florida, played on his team. So Gytis gives us experience losing Jerome and Zach. So I think all three of those guys will impact our team. And look, when I came to Xavier a year ago, I would have told you that that's part of our strategy to recruit internationally, and we're going to continue to do that.
A year ago, you were talking up Des Claude, freshman from Connecticut. Kind of got off to a slow start, right? He did. I mean, it's an adjustment for a lot of these freshmen. I talked to Des earlier today. You can just see it in how he even carries himself now. He's a different guy. He's got that confidence, that swagger. What do you expect from him this year?
He's made a big jump, Jeff. I mean, he really has. I mean, I think he could be one of the best players in our conference. And I don't say that lightly because top to bottom, each team returns so many terrific, talented players. But Des was on the all-freshman team in the Big East. There were times in February and March that he really impacted us winning. He became one of our top 6, 7 players. And the experience that he got a year ago is just so valuable to him because you're right. Early on, we were reliant on the older, experienced group. Des was able to come along as the year went on. But no doubt, we need him to be really good, and I think I think you'll see really from day one, he's gonna have a great year. We need him to be healthy, right?
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Quincy Olivari, Davian McKnight, two guys that are transferring from the same league that Sully Boom came from. What have you seen from them? What do you hope to get from them? I mean, point guard play is so important in the Big East.
So with Quincy, he made 93s at Rice last year. That speaks for itself. He can really shoot the three-point shot. We need him to have that scorer's mentality and maybe adjust to the physicality of the Big East, playing both offense and defense. You guys will love Davion McKnight because he's a throwback point guard.
I saw him quite a bit at Western Kentucky.
He's physical. He's tough. Doesn't say a whole lot. Pass first, and I love his demeanor. I really do. And he gives us something we desperately need, which is just older experience. The other player from Conference USA that we got from North Texas is Abu Usman. And, I think that Abu defensively gives us, again, similar to what I said about Davion, much needed physicality and an older front court player that can help our younger guys come on. But I will tell you that early on, what I've been the most impressed with, and I hope I'm able to say this as the year goes on, is we have a couple freshmen. It's difficult to win with freshmen, but I believe that we have a couple freshmen that are very good players. Trey Green at the point, Dalen Swain, Lazar Djokovic, Sasha Ciani. Those 4 are all freshmen. And then you have Reed Ducharme, played at Brewster a year ago. So we're counting maybe more on our freshmen than we otherwise would have. But I do think we have some players in that class you guys will see that you really like.
So obviously, you haven't put out, I don't think, your first podcast yet. So I'm going to be the first guest, right?
John Fanta has already been our first guest. Yeah.
I mean,
we flew
what
him
happened here? What? You flew him in and everything.
I
didn't get the invite?
He did it in person.
Nothing?
It'll be out sometime in the next 5-7 days. We actually talked a lot about Field of 68, the inner workings even.
The inner workings.
He doesn't do what?
How I carry him.
And
is that what you're trying to say?
We'll let you make your own judgment.
Does your back feel better from not having to carry him for an
We
entire
talked about
season?
that, no
Yeah.
doubt about it. Yeah.
No, we had a blast. You know that. We had
No,
a
we did,
blast.
yeah.
But you're much better in the coach's seat than you are in that media
Thanks.
seat.
Well, I'm
All
glad.
right. So
Still,
do that as long as you
I
can.
do. I do have one more question for you. So we saw Arch last week at A10 Media Day,
Yeah.
and he said that not only was he the best athlete in the Miller family, the best dressed in the Miller family, and the best podcaster in the Miller family, but he said he was the best looking in the Miller family. Do you have any comment?
2 and 4, he could be right. That's dressed. He's
You give him.
100%.
You give him that.
This guy's kind of been like Coach. He's a version of Coach Pitino at a younger age. I mean, he does. He looks sharp. I mean, he looks the part.
What else? What else is
He's
he?
also the most fit Miller.
Oh, no question.
The guy-
He was at the
The
gym.
bar's not high, but he could.
No,
do it.
you're better now. You're not sweating nearly as much as you used to.
Thank you.
How did you do that?
Age.
No,
Unnecessary
usually it gets
energy.
worse.
No, it's.
Were you tired of seeing the photos of you absolutely drenched?
You have to evolve, right? So
Yes,
that's what
you
I've done.
do. You
Yeah,
gotta look at yourself in the mirror, which you needed to do. All
for
right,
sure.
listen.
Yeah. Great
Great seeing you.
great
Always,
talking to you guys.
always.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure,
Likewise.
man.
You got it.